to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you for joining me today. I'm very excited about today's episode. We are going to be hearing from archangels again. This is part 2 from last week's episode of Charmed Life. If you missed that one, go back and check it out. Now, there's no context that you need in order to understand what's happening today, but it is also just really, I think, edifying channeled messages from archangels. Last week, I was... Well, actually, it wasn't just an archangel last week. There was also a benevolent guide from, another star, a star being, basically an ET, from the Lyra star constellation. And there was also Archangel Uriel. And so if you guys missed it, go check it out. You can find it in the podcast feed if you search iTunes, Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. And also you can see the archives up on my YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/Tricia Carr. I put a bunch of other things up on each of those feeds, including meditations. I'm offering a lot more meditations free on my YouTube channel as well as my podcast feed. Although I haven't put them on my podcast feed yet, I will be rolling them out over the next few weeks. I'm doing about 1 meditation per week. These are produced with lovely sound design by my husband, and I just love doing it so much. So if you really enjoy this program, you might like the meditations. I think you would probably really like the meditations. So go check out those different feeds where you can find those archives, different videos and teachings, and so on. And you can follow me on any of my social media outlets. Essentially look for @TriciaCarrCharm. You'll be able to find me. I also I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook. And that is, you can find that by going to facebook.com/groups/charmedlifelove. I'm live there about every week. I've been in a program the past few weeks, so it's been kind of difficult to do it. But you can find me there and interacting, answering questions, and going up live, offering readings and different kinds of teachings. So find me there, and also a business page, of course. And I would like to say hello to the Lightworkers Lab, online spiritual community founded by Crystal Ann Compton. I am a teacher and a guide in the Lightworkers Lab, and you can find the Lightworkers Lab on Facebook as a group, and it is an amazing community. If it's your first time listening, then I will just tell you that the fellowship and the resources in the Lightworkers Lab is unsurpassed. Free resources as well as advanced platforms of education. I offer a lot of programs there on my own as well as with Crystal Ann Compton and perhaps with some other teachers soon. We collaborate, bringing you really amazing spiritual content education. And that is how basically I was able to get myself into the flow of that which I feel is my life purpose and my mission. So it's a beautiful community Crystal founded for the purpose of edifying people who are here to show the way and to light the world. And one last thing I want to tell you about is my website, TriciaCarrCharm.com. In particular, I have under Work With Me on my website, you'll find the Healing Arts Academy. And in the Healing Arts Academy, you'll find classes that are on demand as well as delivered live. So I have my mentoring program up there. I'm opening spots to my mentoring program. I take a limited amount of mentoring students every month. And then also my intuitive and mediumship development class. It's a program that I do about twice per month. It's just a single class. It's about 2 hours long. We practice intuitive connecting and mediumship. We have a lesson and we get together and practice. Even if you've never done it before, I've had brand new students who have never given an intuitive or psychic or mediumship reading, and they've had evidential experiences. So the next one is up there. I believe it's, what is the date there, Jarvis? I forgot. Oh, the 15th. July 15th is the next one. So go check it out. Healing Arts Academy. You can find it TriciaCarrCharm.com/healing-arts. Is that it, Jarvis? I got to remember all these things. All right. Well, to the lesson today. And Jarvis is over there, and you can't really hear him. Y'all got to see him last week. He put his pretty face up on the camera. And we didn't set it up this week, though. I didn't ask you, and you also didn't assume. But did you put the microphone up to your face? Did you have fun?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I did.
good.
It was fun. We'll do it again.
I didn't twist your arm. I didn't force you.
No, it was fun. It was fun.
That was not a very strong no. 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 It's a little white lie. It's a little lie about the color of Tricia's skin.
No, it was fun. I had fun. We'll do it again. It was fun.
Everybody was just commenting on how handsome you are and how sweet you are.
Really? I didn't see any comments.
Oh, you did. Did you go and read the feed afterward? You go read the live.
Okay, I'll go read.
I could tag you in all of them so you can blush.
No, I'll go and read them.
He's single, ladies. He's single. All right. Enough of embarrassing Jarvis. He produces a lot of programs, and all of us are like pimping him out. Right?
That's so true right now.
We just love you so much.
Oh, I love you too.
All right. So, to the Archangel messages. Both of the messages that I'm sharing today are from Archangels. And I teased one last week, and it was the one that I teased was from Archangel Ariel, about how to understand how to perfectly love everyone, which seems like kind of a weighty charge. But this is how I experienced it. And so if you're wondering, when I say these are channeled messages, essentially I go into meditation, self-hypnosis, a trance state, and maybe I go in with the intention, I've been hearing the call that there is a message to receive. And when we say channel, it is a very direct line. So generally speaking, as the psychic and spiritual abilities and arts go, it's psychic, by the way. The word psychic, some people are actually kind of put off by it. And I think that's because of the connotation and how it's been perceived in sort of old school spirituality, I would say. And we always outgrow the way we express one thing or another. I mean, look, in the 70s, we had bell-bottom pants, and then we went to the 80s with pinned, what do they call it, peg-legged pants. They were kind of like skinny jeans, the old school skinny jeans. And then in the 2000s, we went to the boot cut, and then we went right back to skinny jeans again. You know what I mean? We just get sick of things, and that's just the human interpretation. And so I think all words can be useful, but if one is kind of bugging you at the time, then, it's usually time to shift the energy, because the energy of that word has the connotation really has collected a lot of residual, kind of extra stuff. It's sort of like it's grown some ego, that particular word. But you can kind of redeem them and find new use for them. And that's totally okay. That actually makes me think of how certain groups of people will identify with one particular term and then kind of outgrow it because it's sort of collected some meaning that is no longer fitting or comfortable. You know what I mean, Jarvis? I remember when we were younger, Jarvis and I are close to the same age, the Latino community would use the term, well, when I was really young, I think the word Chicano was more popular, and then the term Hispanic was starting to be used, but it turned out that the word Hispanic was actually kind of imposed. Do you know the story about the word Hispanic, Jarvis?
No.
Well, it was imposed upon this group of people by the census that was taken during the Carter administration. Now, I think Carter was a really nice man, a really nice president and everything, but it was just during that administration. And so it was completely created by the census then, and it was imposed. So basically by an outside agency and not by the actual people, the group of people themselves. Jarvis doesn't like that, right? No. That doesn't sound...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, but there are people who would identify in that group who maybe do use that term, and that's fine. Like, everyone can choose to be referred to however they like. I know if I'm off on a tangent, but it seems like I'm not really off on a tangent, though. It feels important. We talked recently about how people of color are being treated and basically how we need to detox from a lot of these oppressive systems, whether, systemize racism, systemize a patriarchy that oppresses women. This is something that I think spiritual people need to be open to. Even if it isn't your specific calling to get down in the trenches and do it, it's still important to know about it so that we're not indulging any systems that are creating this, because we are light workers, we are compassionate, and we do want to hold the space for unity. And so we need to make sure that unity is available to everyone, even in the 3D society kind of experience. So anyway... now we use the term Latino a lot, and that seems to be really helpful to people, or it seems to be a comfortable way for a lot of people to identify a particular set of people, if they choose to. And So that's how words just basically are. They're signposts to energy. And they're just the signs. They aren't the actual energy. But sometimes the sign starts to grow a bit weary and it gets a bit tattered. We need to change the sign. So the word psychic, the root of the word psychic is P-S-Y-C-H. Psych. That root is also in psychology, psychiatry. A lot of, essentially, when it's in psychology, it's referring to the mental or the non-physical expression of the human. And so in psychic, it is about the spiritual non-physical expression of the human. And so psychic is actually really, in its denotation, a really broad catch-all. But connotatively, meaning how people are associating with it, in inner circles, it tends to be a little bit, like I say, out of disrepute. People aren't really loving it anymore. But some people are totally fine with it. And I'm kind of like, whatever, I don't care. But the psychic, as I teach it, psychic perceiving can just be very general. Since it is so general, it could mean just perceiving from another person's field on the 3D and not necessarily connecting higher to love, to higher dimensionality or to higher expression. And so if we're only just picking up what another person is, what's going on in their field, it may not be oriented, it may not be connected to healing. That's something that like mentalists can do. Mentalists do really cool stagecraft kind of things, and they're actually perceiving psychically into the people. And also they have other ways that they're actually monitoring their body and all that, and their nonverbal expressions that they're displaying physically. But still, they really are, a lot of the really good mentalists are totally using psychic perceivers in order to get that kind of crazy information. And so the word intuitive tends to connotatively currently be one that is more acceptable and people are more comfortable with it. Intuitive would imply that it is a higher self or a higher power kind of connection. So that's just what those words mean. And channeling is when we're kind of talking about plugging deeply, really directly into a source of information. Now, you could channel directly from your higher self, and you see that with artists a lot. Or, they could be connecting to other particular consciousnesses like angels or something. But with artists, when they are just flowing and the passion is just coming out, the art is coming out in this really powerful, fine flow, that is channeling, 100%. So channeling, in my opinion, is not something that is so woo-woo. It is not something that is relegated to just a select few. I believe that every single one of us is intuitive and a channel, and maybe we don't understand consciously how to tap into those tools and those abilities, but you can learn it. And that's something that I teach. So, by the way, if you, as an artist or as a person who wants to connect to divine, that is something that I love teaching. And so in this session of channeling, you could do channeling it by means of just allowing the words, that the consciousness, the energy of maybe another being of light, like the archangels, or again, your higher self, directly into your higher self. That connection is also to the archangelic realm. And just allow it to flow through. And that happens sometimes. It happens. Last week it was happening on the show a little bit. I would slip into channel a little bit. And then there's also the kind of channeling I did here where I was in trance holding really direct connection in space with these archangels, and I was writing out the message as it came. And so I actually do this with my eyes closed, and I'm always surprised that it comes out articulate at all, because it's pretty amazing. So this is unedited, except for as I go back and look at it before, if there is like a typo because my finger slipped, I'll just take that out so it doesn't confuse me as I read it back. But it's not edited. It isn't really, it's not a piece of creative writing. Or really it is, and that's always what creative writing is. If that makes sense to y'all. All right, well, I just thought I'd preface that. We actually, in the Lightworkers Lab this month, we are doing Spirituality 101 as a means to welcome people who are either new to this kind of spiritual path, to their spiritual path, or just to review it. Everyone can take a review on it, I think. All right, so now let's get into the message. So Archangel Ariel, she is the archangel who oversees the earth kingdoms, the kingdoms of animals, nature, wild and domesticated alike, although sometimes people will say that she only or especially oversees wild nature. That isn't my experience. I don't see Ariel seeing any difference or feeling, I don't feel any difference between the domesticated and the wild animals or nature. And she also is one who is looking out for and guiding highly sensitive people, highly empathic people. And the reason that I understand that she has that kind of particular special guidance, that we seek special guidance from her as it pertains to the empathic and sensitive nature, is because that sensitive nature is very much attuned and connected to the energy of Gaia, of Earth energy. And so it just makes perfect sense. Excuse me one sec. Incidentally, Archangel Ariel is the archangel from whom I am sort of specifically descended. My oversoul was composed by Archangel Ariel in cooperation with Source Energy. I'm actually going to be teaching a workshop on the composition of the human soul or the human heart at the Lightworkers Lab Bliss Retreat. So this is a retreat that is happening in September. It's a Labor Day weekend. So you can find out about that. It's amazing. We only have a few spots left, but it is a really powerful experience. Attunement ceremonies, workshops galore, healings. It's really powerful. It's held in Loveland, Colorado, and I'm super excited about it. You can go to the lightworkerslab.com/retreat if you want to check out the Bliss Retreat. Like I say, just a few spots left, but I would love to meet you if you would like to join us. Archangel Ariel, she says, I will teach you how you can love everyone perfectly. Actually, she says, I will teach you how you can perfectly love everyone and everything. And so I'm in the channel and I'm experiencing her energy. At first, I begin to feel deeply into what the atmosphere, basically. I'm being attuned to her energy so that I can experience the message as a clear channel. And so I wrote, I feel Ariel's energy as feminine. I become a bit anxious and I ask if her presence is motherly and nurturing. It's like I hadn't quite settled in yet. I was just starting to get into that clear channel experience. And so I get a little ahead of myself and I'm like, oh, I feel feminine. So is that mom? Is that motherly? Is that nurturing? And then I settle in a bit more and I feel the answer to my question as to whether her essence is motherly. I feel the answer as an expression to everything that is divine feminine. Girl, sister, woman, mother, womb, priestess, color, sound, aroma, beauty, pleasure, strength, wisdom, youth, faith, blessing. Essentially, all. At this point, I feel a message coming through, but for some reason, it's not starting to flow for me. And speaking of flow, I realized that I had to go to the bathroom. I didn't write it down that way, Jarvis. I'm just Jarvis cracking up. So I start to basically deny this biological need because that is something that sensitive people do. It's a flaw. It is a malfunction of the sensitive nature, but we tend to deny our own needs because of considering something else, other people's needs or just something else, even our own interest. And that's just not how the way it's supposed to work. So it's kind of funny that I got anxious and I'm not quite in the flow. And then the message is right there at the door, but it just won't, it's not coming through. And so then that's when I checked in with my body. Hello, I'm supposed to be connected to it all the time. And so, like I said, I was denying this biological need because I think that it will disrupt my channeling session. And also because Barnabas, my kitty cat, is cozily seated upon my leg and he's lightly meditating with me. So again, I'm denying myself because, well, not just because of Barnabas and his needs, but because I was enjoying that and I didn't want to disrupt it. And it's just kind of it's just, you'd think it's a way to be present, but it's actually a way to be non-present, because the thing that's most present is the fact that my body is telling me I need something, And anyway, so I'm just sitting there. I'm trying to receive the message and just thinking, well, maybe I can just get through this because Barnabas is comfortable. But then suddenly, while Barnabas had been just, his eyes closed so tightly, Barnabas lifts up his little head from the meditation that he was in, and he's like suddenly super curious about what Franzi, my other kitty, is doing at the window. Franzi's sitting at the window, and Barnabas like pops his head up, and he's like, what's going on over there? And then Barnabas realizes that Franzi is paying attention to some really interesting bird activity. And so he jumps up, and he runs to the window to watch this birdie with Franzi. Super excited. I mean, the bird's flying around all the time, but all of a sudden, Barnabas, at just the right time, goes to watch the birdie show with his brother Franzi. And so then I kind of step out a little bit of the channel, and I just totally get it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm human, and I need to go and take care of myself. So yeah, we're not quite in the channeling session yet. It's just knocking at the door, but something else came up, and so I just go, and go and do my thing, and then I come back, and I realize how perfectly aligned this all actually was. That the message was coming through before I was actually in channeling. The message was coming through. You see, the thing is, animals are closer to divinity. They are more attuned to it. They're closer to the expression of divinity because they are closer to the energy of Gaia. Gaia is actually an archangelic expression. Essentially, the consciousness of the earth, which we call Gaia, is she is alive, and she is a spirit guide of a very high order. That signature of archangelic is close to the signature of God. It's very proximate. The will is very aligned to it, and the unconditionality is expressed in a very similar way. And so animals are actually more attuned to that. So essentially we can say that they are closer to divinity and the expression of it. And so this makes them what I call open vessels for divine energy, meaning they are just openly flowing with divine, much more than humans are, generally speaking. They flow with the field in ways that humans, very generally speaking, don't as regularly do, or at least don't as easily do. Being that open vessel for divine means that they flow harmoniously, and they connect with the harmony of things. They flow with the energy that actively harmonizes. And so, sure, I could say that Archangel Ariel asked the bird to put on a show for my cats because she saw the need that I was experiencing. I could say that Archangel Ariel whispered into Franzi's ear to kind of act out, and suggested also that Barnabas join the audience of the birdie too. And that is true. That is absolutely true. That perspective is a real perspective. But what is also true is that it happened on an even more natural kind of plane. That the cats didn't necessarily consciously experience that message. They were just so tuned. They didn't need the overt, whispering into the ear as, we often experience messages from spirit. They flow with it so perfectly that there isn't any need for even their conscious mind to get in and judge the fact that it was a message from an angel. Probably if I got in there and asked Barnabas and said, do you experience Archangel Ariel? At that moment, if I had done that, he would have been like, oh yeah, of course. Because they are aware of it. It just isn't necessary for them to kind of make a big deal out of it. They're always flowing, or at least they're flowing better than we are, generally speaking. And so, like I say, that is true, but it is true that animals work in cooperation with the field to balance energy. And in this particular moment, they were balancing energy that I was creating, which was denying myself to go to the bathroom. And truly, that is the case. I mean, nothing is non-sacred. Jarvis started laughing when I was talking about flow, basically that I had to go pee. But nothing's non-sacred. The word pee is funny. But nothing is something that should be not talked about or not experienced as it concerns spirituality, because everything that we are and everything that we do is holistically with the one. And that's something that I think conditioning, whether it's by, society or religion tells us some things are sacred and some things are not sacred. And that's not true. I want to tell you guys that we do have the phone lines open, 323-524-2599. If you'd like to call in and ask a question, get some intuitive insight, or if you have anything to ask about what we're talking about, whether it's archangels or Ariel or anything like that. I could even tap in, if you like, and see what archangels are working with you at this time. And I am about to get into the message that I actually directly received from Ariel. But before I do, I want to tell you, as we are talking about animals and how they are tuned to Gaia energy and connecting with them in that way, that my animal communication 4-week education and coaching program is live. This program is going to be starting in about, 3 weeks. We begin the last week of July. And it's a 4-week program. Everything in this program is offered online, including the live classes, including the produced classes, techniques, group activities, and meditations, and all of the supplemental materials, and including the group coaching and the individual and group coaching. So you can actually join wherever you are. It's all scheduled and timed very perfectly, as long as you can contribute 2 to 4 hours to the education and the coaching collectively. You'll be able to experience the full benefit of this program. And so we'll be covering a full range of topics that concern multidimensional connection with animals and nature, including how to speak to and also hear messages from your beloved animal family, how to have conversations, how to be in connection with them. Now, I know even before I opened up this specific ability of animal interspecies telepathy, that I was in connection with my animals, and you are seamlessly in connection with your animal family members. And so if you feel right now like, well, I really love animals, but clearly I'm not an animal communicator, it's just because it's a particular skill that we need to uncover, and that's all. It's actually not that hard. It's really a very natural ability that we all have, because telepathy and communicating energetically is our natural and primary language. But humans are sort of the ones who have trained ourselves to pay a lot of attention to the verbalized language. And, we were talking about words at the beginning of this. Well, we're talking about full energetic connection. We'll also be we'll be learning about animal mediumship, communicating with and receiving divine messages from nature elements like trees, bodies of water, all different kinds, all of the 4 elements of nature, wild animals, and so much more. We'll talk about spirit animals and totems, animal spirit guides, and how to give a professional animal communication and mediumship session. So if you would like to read more about the program and register, you want to go to triciacarcharm.com/animal-communication. It's a live online program. It starts soon, so you want to check it out now, triciacarcharm.com/animal-communication. And now if you are listening to this in an archive, I would say still go and check out that link, because I may offer this program in a different format as an on-demand class. So right now, though, if you're listening live or sometime in July of 2018, you want to take advantage of it, because there's live coaching involved in this program. Okay, back to the message from Archangel Ariel. And so Archangel Ariel wanted to talk about how to be able to tune to basically unity, to be able to love everyone and everything. And the answer, she says, is play. Play is a tool that humans often think is trivial. Humans regard play as a distraction from work. Play is thought of as an unevolved urge that children must be trained to control. Dear ones, you, yourselves, are the manifestation of play. It is a beautiful, exhilarating, profound honor to be in this role in the game of creation. So pausing from what Ariel's message is, this is me just explaining that, as she says, we are the manifestation of play, essentially because we are creatures. We are created ones. We are also creators, as being ones who are created in the image of source energy or of God, having free will, therefore the free will to be absolute creators ourselves. We are actually play. We are singularity experiencing duality, and we are that manifestation of the energy of playing. It is a profound honor to be in this role in the game of creation, as Archangel Ariel says. Remembering this brings the heart to balance, to alignment with the field. Stepping away from the channel again, that is very much like what animals do. Animals are constantly playing. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, whether they are domesticated or they're in the wild. Now, obviously, a lot of times in the wild, because of the conditions that are imposed upon them, especially as humans create an imbalanced ecosystem because we forget about the flow, they sometimes are in the survival kind of energy, but they still experience play. And even while they're in the element of survival, they are still closer to divinity, and they understand that this is about the one song, about the harmony of everything. Back to the channeled message. Archangel Ariel says, God created you as an expression of love. Play is not trivial. It is not a cruel pursuit. Occupying the focus of a creature is to occupy a throne. You are cherished as one who is created. When you feel that you cannot connect with love for anything or anyone, including your own self, drop the density of that experience and connect with the moment in the energy of play. Feel it in your heart as excitement, as the simplicity of smiling. To prove to yourself that you can play, feel into your own heart. Allow a smile to imbue your being and take a breath. Notice how you can do whatever you choose, however you want to create this experience of breath. It is a game, this breath. It is a game that you are playing. Affirm, I am here to play. This awareness dissolves the illusion, the focus upon and belief in that which separates. By this awareness, you honor both the one and the duality. If you have trouble loving yourself, take a moment to realize that you are playing a game which casts you in two roles. How else could you reject yourself? You have created two characters from yourself as a game to play in observation. You are one, and you are also playing a game. As easily as you cast yourself into two roles, you can identify with the one who plays, with your higher self, or, greater still, with God. You are the energy of God at all times. You are just playing as though you are someone else. Ooh, that's powerful to me. I'm going to say it again. You are the energy of God at all times. You are just playing as though you are someone else. You chose this game to play it. You do not need skills to play it well because you are the essence that supersedes it, being that essence of God. Denying play is to deny yourself as a creature and a creator. And so to deny any other player is also to deny yourself. Yes, play more. Whatever that means, dear player, in the moment. Recognize that playing is your purpose, and you will access the truth of unity. As you observe your animals, how they do not fret nearly as often as you do. And so that was the end of what the direct channel was, but then it caused me to recall the scripture Matthew 6:28 when Jesus said, "Consider the lilies of the field, they do not toil and spin." And as I am a communicator, a telepath who connects with nature, including trees and lilies, I actually know that the reason that they don't toil and spin, and I think even what Jesus is implying here, is that it's not that they are ignorant, and that's not why they don't toil and spin. It's because they are wise enough to be present in the play. Again, I do have the phone lines open, 323-524-2599. Okay, we do have a caller. I'll take that call. I'll take one of those calls, Jarvis. Hello. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Good morning, Tricia. It's Daniela Barrison from Colorado.
Hi, Daniela. How are you? Thank you so much for calling.
Doing good. Yeah, I'm excited to be online.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited too. What's going on with you today?
Just burning some Palo Santo, enjoying my Sunday off. It's my Saturday, actually. So enjoying just some self-care day today with the animals and my husband.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a kind of play for sure.
Yes, it's very much needed.
Oh, good for you. Thanks for the
Especially
encouragement.
after a whole week of work, working with people. So definitely needed.
Well, I can feel in your voice that you definitely work with Archangel Ariel, not just in your voice, but that you work with people because you're highly sensitive and empathic. And so you're taking care of people all the time, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah, I do skincare. So I'm always, people come to me and they, splurge on the table. Everything just comes out. So I do readings for not everybody, but certain people that will come in, and I'm drawn to do card readings for them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So definitely.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I wish that you lived near me. I would so have you do my facials. You got a little twofer going on.
Well, you'll be in Loveland soon, so.
Yeah. Are you coming to the Bliss Retreat?
I'm going to try to. I definitely will try to.
Okay, well, I hope to see you there. Did you have
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you have a question or did you have anything else?
Yeah. I know that I'm going through a shift right now. And I just wanted to know maybe just some guidance of who. I know that I have Archangel Ariel, but I know that I feel Archangel Michael with me a lot, and as of recently, even more so. And if there's any messages from anybody that can come through, that would be lovely, just for some guidance.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I actually do feel Gabriel, and Gabriel is who else I was going to bring a message through for. This may actually be a three-parter after all. Gabriel is overseeing this and is holding space with us today, but you do have a very powerful voice and very powerful communication. And actually, I mean, Jarvis, listening to Daniela, doesn't she have a lovely voice? It's not just, yes, it is lovely in that the tone is pleasing in all kinds of, superficial ways, but it's what you conduct through it, the love and the peace. I have all this peace that I feel like I'm so encouraged to go home and do some self-care now because you explained it to me and I can feel that energy. Yes. And also with the card readings and the intuitive readings that you give, Gabriel is working with you to be very articulate and to bring through that clarity. But I also have Jophiel because of, doing the beauty and doing the self-care and the kind of healing work, which is interesting because, obviously Raphael would be working with you being a healer as you are, but Jophiel in particular works with you in your healing. And I think that's really lovely because I think also you work with a lot of women and that energy is a sort of she brings this energy of celebrating the divine feminine and this sacred space to be able to do that. And so Michael brings through confidence for you. Now Ariel we know is the lioness of God. Michael holds up that energy as well with you because you are very protective. It's like you're the kind of person where it's like, yeah, I'm sweet, I sound sweet, and I look sweet, but don't mess with anything, right? You get down to business if business needs to get done, right?
That's yes.
Absolutely. So knowing
that's very, very true.
Yes, and knowing that this is the fullness of who you are, not just as a woman, but as just a divine soul. Just as having all of it, and Archangel Ariel, the lioness of God character to me is how the divine feminine is powerful as well. I mean, obviously, femininity, even in the physical form, is very powerful because you bring forth children from your body. That's the strongest thing I can imagine. But so there's you just have this, I don't know, I'm stammering because there's just so much energy that comes through in your team. But Michael is also protecting your home and protecting your house. It is very much like I know it's not to say, not to take anything, I hope your husband's not listening, not to take anything away from your husband, but you have this guardianship over the home and the family. Also, your property itself, because you connect with the nature and the animals around your space. Everybody is sort of under your shield. Everybody is under your protection. And the way that the protection that you hold is just, it isn't defensive at all. It's just strong, and I want to say stalwart, which I'm not even sure what that word means. It's not a word I use, but it's the word that I feel from Archangel Michael, just this stability. And so he's got your back in that. And what Michael is also helping you with is to continue to move forward in a fuller expression of everything that you want to do. You love doing the facials, and there's going to be a point at which where you're like, okay, physically it's a bit challenging to continue to do that. Is this already starting for you? Are you getting some issues with the back and the legs? Yeah, the back and the legs, even though you love it. Well, you don't have to feel guilty about the fact that you might move away from it sometime. You might move to something else. It's just because it's repetitive movement. It's not because your body is weak at all. It's just that our body actually wants variety. And so in the meantime, you can add some variety to it. I would say yoga, maybe even Pilates, because I see you having to lean over a lot, and Pilates is core strengthening, or something that is high-intensity interval training, because you're very strong, and so you could enjoy that. That would also work with the core and get you in a completely different position. So mixing it up and having the variety, but at the same time, even that's just to sustain it. Your body may start to say that's enough of this, and then we'll shift to other things. But you just have this fullness of the intuitive arts that want to come out of you. That's just begging to come out of you in a full expression, right? You can feel that.
Yes, well, and that's what my shift is. I feel it is, speaking my truth and my gift that I've been giving, and helping others, and just following, not only doing the aesthetics, but the spiritual side of me, and really just accepting who I am. And so I'm not afraid anymore to communicate my gift.
Yeah. And when you're not
so
afraid
definitely I've been working on that. So
and the trick about it is that when you're not afraid of it, people aren't afraid to hear it either. And now you could be, you're in Colorado, so it isn't quite as conservative, fortunately. But if you were in, let's say, the Bible Belt, then generally society is a little more afraid of a certain, expression of spirituality. But if you were in that kind of constricted context, you would align to you people that either were ready to release their fear, even if you don't get to see it when you speak your truth, or they just won't even have fear as you speak your truth about how you personally experience spirituality. And that's the thing we always remember. It doesn't really matter because it's personal for me anyway. And if it helps you, then I'll share. But this wants to come out of you. And the other thing, the encouragement is you don't have to stop one in order to fully engage with the other. So you can be very present.
Combining the two.
That's beautiful. And so, just continue to explore it and maybe take some classes or read books or do anything that continues to, use all of the spare time you have as it interests you to continue to, move in these ways that you express yourself that way. You can add new things. You can, at some point, put the cards away if you want to, or you can, express all kinds of new things, I think, and starting right where you are. That's really cool.
And new things have been coming through, reading energy from other people. And I actually had one, I was at the pet store. And there was a lady and her husband looking at a cat, and I said, "Oh, how cute," but I felt that she had lost her animal. Mm-hmm. And it was her cat. Her cat was there. Her cat that she had lost.
He was reincarnated
5 years ago. Was reincarnated in this new little kitty.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And I bought my animal food. I bought my cat food. And I go to my car, and I kind of waited. I was like, do I do this? I was so nervous. And they came out, and I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but did you lose a cat? And she just starts bawling. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is the cat for you. This is your cat. Your cat is here with you. And she was just like, yes, this is my baby, And I was just like, oh, it felt so good to know that,
Yeah. Oh.
My feelings, and to be able to connect, because that was scary.
It is
for me,
Yeah, but you had kind of.
It was so scary.
I think you had this sign, Spirit encouraged the conversation because the person kind of came over, you know what I mean? It wasn't like you had to force anything at all. It seemed to really just kind of, you're in your car and you're like, and then she shows up. So it's like, oh, okay.
It was meant. It was meant to talk and to give her that message, and it was like, oh, that was perfect.
And Spirit
so definitely, it was very cool how these new gifts are coming through. So definitely exciting.
Spirit will work with us that way too, so we don't have to force things. And it's okay if we're having a moment where we're like, I'm not sure if I should. Can you help me? Can you help this to, make it easy? And help the person to be able to be in greater a receptive mode for it by saying yes, like hearing their guides and moving along and aligning, basically being an open vessel for divine. As I was saying, Barnabas and Franzi were in, the story I was telling. So yeah, we can kind of sit back. We don't have to force things. And, it's sometimes those moments come and then it doesn't align. And then it just means you hold the space and you pray and, you send love, and that works too. So that's really cool. I love that story so much, Daniela. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure it's very encouraging.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope to see you at the Bliss Retreat, and maybe go check out my animal communication program if that interests you.
I will definitely do that.
You sound really busy, but I think we could probably
Tuesday through Saturday, busy. So yeah,
we could work it out. Yeah, I think we could work it out. I would love to connect with you.
All right.
I look forward to meeting you. I'm just going to call it into a form that maybe we get to meet. Maybe you can even just come to. Usually we have dinner on the last night or something like that off the ranch. We did that last time. I say usually. It's only the second annual one, but
okay.
I'm calling it usual.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Daniela. Really lovely to connect
Perfect.
with you.
Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you.
And Jarvis, thank you.
He's nodding his head. He didn't have the mic close. Talk to you
Okay,
soon.
well, he'll hear it later. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are we just about out of time? Okay, cool. We'll take another call then. Hi, you're on the air. Who's
Hello?
this? Yeah, hi.
Hi, Tricia. It's Jessie.
Oh, hi, Jessie. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay, thank you. So thank you for taking this call. It's both for me and my kitty Magi
Oh, yeah.
that I'm asking. Yeah, I'd like to hear what messages. I don't personally hear from the archangels, or I'm not aware of it, but anything that they could offer about this being our fourth move since September because of environmental toxicity, and we moved into a hotel. And not to go into the whole story, but my concern being like the message that I need about this particular, transition has become, the word transition doesn't mean anything because it's basically every day of my life. But how it's affecting Magi, who's been an outdoor boy since he roamed into my life 4 years ago, and he's now in a hotel room, like a one-bedroom suite, and I'm concerned.
Okay.
Because it may be 2 or 3 months this way. So message for the situation and him, if it's appropriate.
Yeah. So do we have a window that he can sit at, that he can look out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his trees. He's got his little tree houses, and it's sunny, and it's not unpleasant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, basically what I'm hearing, and I guess Gabriel is just really overseeing this space, but Gabriel in particular is coming forward, but of course Raphael as well. But I'm hearing home. Your heart is the home. Your heart is the home, and it's the home for you and Magi, and Magi's heart is the home for you as well. So you two come together, and your heart energy comes together, and that is home. And everything else is an illusion, so it doesn't matter. The only thing that is real is the love that you have, is the love that you experience, and that is being held and generated by and alchemized in the combination of your hearts. And so you're always home. And there isn't any, actually the other thing that's coming through is that there isn't anything that is ever still anyway. So humans get really scared because it is our nature of the ego, meaning the survival mechanism, to be afraid of transition. But there is nothing that is ever in stasis anyway. And so just be okay with the fact that we're in a different place now. Magi is just, again, you are his home. Now, of course, he has this physical urge since he's experienced outdoors that may cause him to sort of desire something, but it's not something that emotionally stresses him out. It's really just a physical thing. And then when he's actually adjusting to it quite well. You're seeing him act out less, right? You're just still wondering because maybe because he doesn't have the facility. He's not acting out as much about his need to be outside.
No, he's not acting out. He's quite amazing how he's adapted time after time with me. But he has been hiding under the bed. There's a little channel that he can sneak into. And you talked so much about play earlier, and there's lack of play, no matter how much we can do within this little space. So that was just wanted some blessings and messages for him.
Absolutely. Well, think of play. It doesn't have to only mean the outward expression of it. It's more just about the energy of actually lightening up and realizing that it's experience. The experiences that we're having them because we're playing. This whole thing is a play. And we can operate from that position of being the one who is writing the experience, as well as performing in the experience. And Magi's hiding because, as you know, I know you know this, his body has to adjust to all of the scents and the smells, and that's just perfectly normal. But he doesn't mind. It actually, that little channel, it makes him feel soothed, and he's taking it in little by little. So don't worry about him. It's not really distressing. Actually, it's soothing. You think of it this way. It's actually soothing to be able to be there so he can take it in little by little. But you know what I mean? Like so don't let it stress you out. The more that you can just connect with the piece of how heart is the home, then you both will be able to adjust to it. And you're adjusting to it too. I mean, it feels weird. It doesn't, your body's still not adjusted to it. It's that, see, our spirit and our mind is always trying to get our body to catch up. And that's what that's what this entire experience is. And so that's where we are right now. But the place is not a brand new spanking new hotel, which is actually a good thing, right? It's not a brand new one with all of the new car smell. No. That's a good thing. It's off gassed from any of like glue and all that kind of stuff. So that's good, you know. That's a good thing. That was a good choice and a good find for you. So I would say just come present, come home, maybe do some of that heart-brain coherence. I think you and I have done that on a session before, right? Where we put our hands on our heart, we breathe into the heart, we picture beauty, enjoy some moment, and then just allow the brain and the heart to actually come into coherence. It's a technique that I learned from Crystal, and that Crystal credits with Greg Braden. So Greg Braden is actually, I think, the source and I forget the name of the institute, but the Heart Coherence Institute. I'm pulling this out of my memory, and it's not perfect.
I'm blanking. It's okay.
Yeah. So, but just keep going home. This is all a lesson in presence, because like we say, there isn't actually anything that is still. There is no such real thing as stasis. And so, the feeling or the awareness of transition is actually just helping us to come into presence and come. So just continue to connect with the heart and do your best to just, when you recognize I'm worried about Magi, just say, okay, thank you, worry. I appreciate the message, but I know that right now we are well and we are safe and we love each other and everyone is doing well and doing their best. Right? That's the intention. That's the intention. And intention is divine, and intention always works. All right?
Yeah.
I hope that's helpful. And I hope that you do find a space that doesn't feel like it's transition really soon. Because you do.
Thanks.
Yes, because that will be a blessing that is welcome and deserved. So I pray for you for that. And we hold that space knowing that is coming, and that exactly what we have right now is still safe and is warm, and it is comfortable because heart is the home. Jessie, well, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Tricia.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Talk to you very soon.
Thank you so much. Much love.
You too. Much love to you. We have time for another call, Jarvis? Okay, Jarvis says we can take another caller. Let's do it. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this? Hello, you're on the air.
Karen.
Hi, Karen. Is that with a K?
Hi. It's Karen Skipper
Oh, hi.
from the lab.
Hey, how are you? Nice to talk with
Good.
you.
I'm so excited. This is my first time being on one of your lives, watching it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you. I'm really enjoying it, too. You know, I watch your stuff, obviously, on the lab, but I've never been able to catch one of your Charm Lives, so this is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, my question, what I'm wondering is about the archangels that are working with me and what I can do to better enhance my relationships with them.
Okay. Well, I have Uriel coming through. Uriel and who else? Jeremiel. Uriel and Jeremiel I have coming through. So one thing, Uriel tells me that you are, you love being grounded, and sometimes you feel like, oh, am I too grounded? Is that something that you experience? And because you love education and you love to connect with, you're very smart and you're very intelligent and you love to connect with the conscious mind and the analytical mind. I mean, that's a joy and that's fun for you. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's okay. That isn't in contrary to feeling a kind of dynamic, vibrant connection to spirit. It's not contrary to it. It is one of the tools. And so you can actually start by going and reading a little bit about, like I say, the two that are coming through right now are Uriel and Jeremiel. And you can read a little bit about them and let that inspire you, and then go into meditation.
I will. Okay.
Yeah, just go into meditation. And just like right from there, just like put down the material and just feel whatever inspired you. And then I am seeing that writing, like automatic writing, will help you to identify what's coming through, because you won't judge it as much. See, that's the thing, is that if you don't have a tool, and by the way, you love tools, and that's okay. Tools are great. Tools we're a tool. Yeah. It's that whole thing about being the player and the creator and the created one. So you can use writing, you can use reading, and you can use that as a tool for you to connect, and then for you to be able to bring the energy through in a way that is clear for you. Because if you're just kind of out in the open space, sometimes you judge yourself. You go, "Well, is that real?" And so that's what if you can prove it to yourself a little bit, there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean by writing. Does that make sense to you?
It does. Yes, it does. Okay. Yeah. Because sometimes I am too analytical.
But I don't want you to give yourself that judgment. I don't want you to say I'm too analytical. Okay. I think your analytical side is a gift. I think it's a really cool tool. Now, if you feel like, I'm feeling bogged down and I'm stressing myself out, then just take a breath, and now the tool and realize, my analytical mind is serving me. That's actually probably a really good affirmation for you. Take a breath. My analytical tool serves me. And then you can use it in joy, and use it from the space of being the one who is, the higher mind, and allow the analytical mind to be the servant. Does that make sense? Can you feel what I'm talking about there? Okay. But I don't want you to give yourself the judgment, I'm too analytical, because that is actually making you feel frustrated, and you think it's something to fix. But it's not. It's just a pivot in a moment of, my analytical mind serves me, and I am the higher mind. And then now you're like, okay, cool. Okay. Now I can read, or now I can discern, and I can use that creative tool. It's like the violinist. Your analytical mind is your violin. And that's a great thing. The violinist needs her violin, because that's how she expresses herself. That's how she receives. So I think that's really cool. Does that make some sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Is that helpful?
It does.
Okay, cool. Go check out Uriel and Jeremiel. I don't connect with Jeremiel that much, so that's really fascinating to me. He was over off in the distance. I'm like, you're going to have to tell me your name, because I don't know you that well. So I heard Jeremiel.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Well, hang on, I'm on the phone. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We're out of time anyway. So I really appreciate talking with you, Karen.
Thank you so much.
That was so fun, and we'll connect soon, I'm sure.
It will, and I'll let you know what Jeremiel says to me.
I would love to hear. All right. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Trish, thank you. I love you.
I love
Bye-bye.
you. All right. Well, now we are out of time, I think, right, Jarvis? You let me go over a lot, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Jarvis. I don't know what we're going to do if we get another show on after us. We'll be messed up. No, that's okay. Well, thank you so much. This was a really, really wonderful show. I felt all of your energy and all time and space contributing. We do have one more message from Archangel Gabriel. And so this is a 3-parter. I'm not sure if it'll be next week or if it'll be the following, but we will be soon hearing from Archangel Gabriel about how does forgiveness relate to manifestation. So I will see you next week live on any of my outlets, my social media outlets. Well, I should say not any, on either Periscope, Twitter, or on Facebook. You can actually join the Lightworkers Lab. We broadcast live into the Lightworkers Lab, or my Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/charmedlifelove. And then you can join the broadcast live, watch it, and call in for some insight. You know, we also have expert guests on, and it's a really great opportunity to call in when they're here too, because you'll be able to connect with them. And so also the archives can be found on youtube.com/Tricia Carr or on iTunes. And I would love it if you would like, subscribe, share, comment, review. I would just love that, and I would really, really appreciate it. Ooh, one more thing. I forgot to tell you guys about my Patreon community, patreon.com/Tricia Carr. Oh, we're having so much fun there. Oh, it's so awesome. We are doing live group meditations every month. We are doing live hangouts every single month. And I give you guys that activating meditation. This month, because we're still sort of in the season of it, we did an activation of Atlantean energies. I have a new person who is helping me to edit the audio of my meditations, and he's never experienced anything like that. He's like, oh my gosh, we met Gaia and we went to Atlantis twice. Oh my gosh, how do I hear more about this? And it was really kind of cool. I was very excited about it. So go check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Tricia Carr. It's a way to support this program. And it's also a way to either get discounts on my services or join the community where we're actually doing all of those activities. So I would love it if you guys would check it out. And so that is our show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.